Some people grew up loved, but they were never really seen. Not ignored, not abused, just unseen. You were cared for, but misunderstood. You were praised, but not truly understood. Before we go further, a quick note. This video is meant to help you explore certain emotional patterns, not to label you and not to diagnose you. Here's the strange paradox. You can grow up in a loving home and still feel invisible inside it. And that kind of invisibility leaves a quiet mark. Often, it doesn't show up until adulthood, because the real impact isn't that people didn't love you. It's that they never fully saw who you were. And that changes how you learn to exist in the world. Today, we're going to explore something many adults are only beginning to recognize. What happens when you were loved, but never emotionally seen, and why that experience can shape your relationships, your boundaries, and even the way you speak to yourself. When psychologists talk about healthy emotional development, they often focus on something very simple: being seen, not just being physically present with someone, but being emotionally recognized. When a child shows fear, excitement, curiosity, or sadness, someone notices. They respond. They reflect it back. They help the child understand what they're feeling. Over time, the nervous system learns something important. My emotions make sense. My inner world matters. But when a child grows up loved without that emotional reflection, something quieter happens. The child adapts. Maybe the parents were busy. Maybe they were practical people who focused on providing instead of connecting emotionally. Maybe they cared deeply, but didn't know how to recognize feelings. So the child learns something silently. My feelings aren't the focus here. And the nervous system begins adjusting. Psychologists sometimes call this emotional neglect. Not cruelty, not abandonment, just the absence of emotional reflection. So the child becomes very observant. They scan the room, they read moods, they adjust their behavior, they become what the environment rewards. This kind of adaptation can create something psychologists call hypervigilance. The brain becomes extremely good at noticing other people's needs, but much less practiced at noticing its own. And slowly, another pattern forms. The child learns that connection comes from performing the right role, being the good kid, the easy kid, the responsible one, the successful one, or sometimes the funny one. But here's what most people don't realize. The strategy that helped you stay connected as a child can become the same strategy that creates problems later in life. Because if your nervous system learned that love came from adapting to others, you may never have learned how to stay connected to yourself. And this pattern shows up in ways many adults don't immediately notice. You might see it in relationships. You're very aware of other people's needs. Sometimes instantly. You know when someone is uncomfortable. You know when someone feels disappointed. You know when someone needs reassurance. But when someone asks you a simple question, "What do you want?" you pause, because the answer isn't always clear. Many adults who grew up emotionally unseen become incredibly skilled at taking care of others emotionally. They're thoughtful partners, supportive friends, reliable co-workers. But inside, a quiet habit can start forming. Self-abandonment. You may notice it during conflict. Instead of expressing what you feel, you soften it. You explain the other person's perspective first. You downplay your own reaction, not because you're weak, but because your nervous system learned something very early. Connection feels safer than authenticity. This pattern often appears around boundaries. You say yes quickly, and only later you feel resentment. You might spend a lot of time wondering if your needs are reasonable. You might worry that being honest could make someone uncomfortable. And that discomfort can feel surprisingly threatening, even when you logically know it isn't. This pattern can show up in career choices too. You may be very good in roles where you support, organize, help, or manage others. You may be dependable and respected. But when you try to ask yourself what you truly want, there can be confusion, not because you lack direction, but because your inner signals were rarely mirrored when you were younger. Your brain became fluent in reading other people, but less practiced in hearing its own voice. And sometimes the hardest place this pattern shows up is inside your own mind. Your inner voice might sound very practical. Don't make it a big deal. Other people have it worse. Just be grateful. On the surface, those thoughts sound reasonable. But underneath them is an old adaptation. If my emotions aren't acknowledged, maybe they're not that important. And over time, that belief shapes how you treat yourself. But this next part is important to hear clearly. This was never weakness. It was intelligence. It was survival. Your nervous system did something remarkable. It learned how to stay connected in an environment where emotional reflection was limited. It learned how to read people, how to adapt, how to maintain harmony. And those skills probably helped you build relationships, succeed at work, and navigate complicated social situations. The problem isn't the adaptation itself. The problem happens when the adaptation becomes automatic. When the nervous system keeps using the same strategy, even when it's no longer necessary. Because adulthood offers something childhood didn't. Choice. And awareness is where change begins. The first step is not dramatic change. It's noticing. You begin observing small moments. Moments when you automatically say yes. Moments when you explain someone else's behavior before acknowledging your own feelings. Moments when you minimize something that actually mattered to you. These are not failures. They are signals. Your nervous system is simply following an old map. But maps can be updated. One powerful shift begins when you reconnect with something very simple. Your internal signals. Instead of immediately responding to others, you pause. You ask yourself quiet questions. What did I actually feel just now? What did I want in that moment? At first, the answers might feel unclear. That's normal. If your emotions were rarely mirrored growing up, your brain may not have developed strong awareness of them yet. But awareness grows with practice. Small boundary experiments can help too. Not big confrontations, just small, honest moments. Saying, I need to think about that. Or, I'm not sure that works for me. These small moments teach the nervous system something new. Connection doesn't disappear when you express yourself. Safety doesn't require self-erasure. And slowly, something important begins to happen. You start becoming visible, not just to others, but to yourself. If you grew up loved but emotionally unseen, your story makes sense. Your adaptations make sense. Your sensitivity makes sense. You were navigating connection with the tools available to you. And those tools worked. But your identity was never meant to be built only around other people's expectations. You deserve a relationship with your own inner world too. A place where your emotions are acknowledged, where your needs are allowed, where your voice has space. So if parts of this pattern feel familiar, let that recognition be information, not judgment, because the goal is not to erase the person you became. The goal is to expand the space where you can exist inside your own life. And remember this one stabilizing truth. You are not broken. These were adaptations.